TikTok didn't just get sold, it didn't just change ownership. What happened is far bigger and far more dangerous than a simple business deal. The TikTok takeover is an encroachment upon our freedoms. Get ready for constant monitoring and censorship within this app. Because with this purchase, the US government now has unprecedented access to one of the most powerful data collecting machines on the planet. Your interests, your habits, your location, your voice, your face, your digital fingerprint. And it doesn't stop at data. The shift gives the US the power to influence what you see and what you don't see, what gets boosted, what gets buried, what gets labeled, what gets erased. Call it security, call it oversight, but let's be honest. When a government gains the ability to control information and monitor millions of citizens through a platform this massive, that's not just regulation, that's a direct threat to freedom of expression. So today, we're breaking down what this takeover really means for creators, for viewers, and for anyone who believes in a free and open internet. Because if we don't talk about this now, we may not get the chance later. The United States bought TikTok for $14 billion. And when I say the United States, it was actually just three entities, two of them being from the United States. One being Oracle, one being Silver Lake, and the third entity would be MGX, which is actually based in Abu Dhabi. This is very interesting. I think I would like to say first and foremost that this is not about data privacy, data security. It's more about data collection, if anything. The United States will now be collecting the data. And not only that, it's also about censorship. Well, they have the ability to do it now. And they also have the ability, they changed the privacy policies to include, I'll have to put it up here, but let me look it up. Let me look it up now. TikTok's new 2026 privacy policy. Key points. Policy is now operated by the new U.S. entity. TikTok services in the U.S. are now run by TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC, the new majority American-owned company created to satisfy U.S. national security requirements. The entity is responsible for U.S. user data, the app, the algorithm, cybersecurity, and compliance. 2. The policy discloses collection of sensitive personal information. It did. I'll admit to that because I accepted it. It's unlikely they didn't already have that information, I'll say that. But listen to this. The update policy explicitly states that TikTok may process categories of sensitive data such as citizenship, immigration status, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Why is that important? For a social media app? Who knows? I could assume why it would be important to the United States of America, given current events. This disclosure caused widespread user concern, but it appears because U.S. state privacy laws like California's require companies to list all categories, it does not necessarily mean TikTok newly started collecting these fields. It means they must now be explicitly listed. As I said earlier, they probably already had them, but it wasn't the United States. I think given current events, they're going to use that data in ways that I may not see as American, to be honest. 3. Location data collection is highlighted. The policy emphasizes that TikTok may collect precise device geolocation, general location based on IP or SIM. This was one of the first things users noticed in the pop-up notification. So guess what? They have your location. If you have the app. They probably have the location if you had the app at one point in time. So be aware of that. It's unless you got a new phone, or your cache has been completely cleared or whatever. They probably have that information. 4. Mandatory acceptance for continued use. Users must accept the new terms of service and privacy policies to continue using the app. This is part of the legal transition to the new U.S. entity. I mean, that is why they did it in the first place. You know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense. 5, stronger emphasis on national security aligned safeguards. TikTok states that the new U.S. entity will operate under comprehensive data protections, algorithm security, content moderation safeguards, software assurances. These are part of the agreement that allowed TikTok to continue operating in the US after the ownership restructuring. What does that actually mean? Despite everything previously stated that they will be collecting all your information, I think additionally they'll be censoring things, people's accounts, or certain videos, certain comments that they don't want on the app, or that negatively shine a negative light on certain things. They have that ability now. Legally, they have that ability now. So to me, that's an issue. But hey, what can I do about it? I'm just one dude. Applies to all TikTok services. The policy covers TikTok apps, TikTok websites, TikTok ad network, any platform linking to the policy. This is explicitly stated in the policy text. What's actually new versus what's just newly disclosed. Newly emphasized because of U.S. law, sensitive data categories: citizenship, immigration status, sexual orientation, explicit geolocation, language, mandatory acceptance. New because of the ownership change, TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC is now the operator. National security aligned data and algorithm controls. Censorship. That's what that means. Not new. TikTok has long collected device usage and behavioral data. Sensitive categories were already possible under prior policies, but not highlighted as clearly. Interesting, right? Let's get back on track. $14 billion. That's an unfathomable amount of money. $14 billion. I don't even know how to paint a picture of how many people. Okay, here. How many people are on Earth? 8.29 billion people as of early 2026 are on Earth. U.S. user data and algorithm will be walled off. The new entity, TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC, is responsible for securing U.S. user data, the app, and the algorithm under stricter privacy and cybersecurity rules. We'll see that be implemented. I know as of today, I have a gaming TikTok, right, where I post my gaming content. Usually receive views within the first minute of posting a video. I have a video that's been up now for two videos. Well, I think one I posted last night, which would be January 24th, 2026. And then I posted one this morning, which would be January 25th, 2026. And both still have 0 views. Now, I'm not saying I'm crazy on that and I get a ton of views a lot of the time. I have videos that's gotten, I don't know, in the thousands. On TikTok, I don't get that many views, but on other platforms, views. Now, it's down to what? It's 0, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on with that. But partially the reason I'm doing this. Political reactions are intense. President Trump is publicly taking credit for the deal, while some users worry the new ownership could influence moderation or content policies. What this means for creators. The app isn't going anywhere. The ban threat is off the table for now. Policies and moderation rules may shift as the new U.S. entity settles in. Data handling and algorithm transparency will likely become stricter. There's no indication of major changes to the For You page yet, but creators are watching closely. As I said, I've already been affected by this purchase. Okay, next. Could TikTok be censoring certain creators right now? Yes, but not in the way people usually imagine. TikTok doesn't typically shadow ban individual creators manually, but does. Okay, this is a lie. With the purchase now, they can do exactly that. With the amount of AI implementation that has been put into this at this rate, any video you post is liable to be, I don't want to say censored, but it's flagged and checked and this and that to the utmost degree. So whether it is censored or not, I feel like that's up to whoever has control to do that. Even if it isn't censored, they're definitely gathering data on you to an extent that is like a threat to your freedom. With there's not a keystroke that you will have on the internet that will not be recorded in a database. For what? For what? For control. For control. I mean, you could look at it in a lot of different ways. You could look at it in a marketing sense. Yeah, if everything that I do online was then put into a database, that data could be bought and sold very easily to any company that wants to market anything to me. What car do I need? What car could I afford? What housing could I afford? This and that. Soon enough, they're going to tell you what jobs you can work. It's not going to be a matter of I can apply to any job. It's going to be, this is your role. This is who you are. They're going to tell you who you are. And they're going to know who you are because every keystroke on the internet is going to be recorded. Let's get back to the censor. 1. Major platform changes, temporary distribution weirdness. When TikTok restructures its moderation systems, data pipelines, or algorithm rules, the platform often becomes overly cautious for a short period. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, bro. This is all propaganda right here. AI propaganda. I looked this up into AI. Most of this is my opinion. Of course, I did the new U.S. oversight stricter moderation filters. All right, this is a good one. With the new U.S. entity controlling data and compliance, TikTok is under pressure to tighten safety filters, reduce borderline content, avoid political controversy, avoid legal risk. This can cause false positives, videos being held longer, certain topics being slowed down. If you post anything on a weighted subject, for example, ICE in the United States of America, which I'm not going to get into. I guarantee you, if it's not pro-ICE, they're going to flag it and they're going to slow it down at the very least. I think people have already seen reposting being affected. I know I posted a comment earlier today and I didn't get to read the message that it sent me some kind of message, like error message that it wasn't going to send it. I missed it because I'm so used to being able to just click it and it posts, but it didn't. And so my reply to someone didn't post. TikTok's AI moderation sometimes misfires. The automated system can flag certain words and captions, certain visuals, certain audio, rapid posting behavior, device IP patterns. When it misfires, the result is 0 views until a human or secondary system clears it. This is extremely common during big backend updates. Allegedly. No, it isn't common during big backend updates. This has never happened before. It is only happening now because, I mean, you could make the argument that there was a new purchase and they do have a lot of updates that they gotta implement. But damn, it's been a day. It's been a whole day for some of those posts and they've received 0 views, which that has never happened to me before. I'll say that. I can't speak for anybody else, but that has never happened to me before in the year I've been on TikTok posting. Granted, that's not a huge amount of time. This happened on 2 of my accounts as well. That's another thing I would like to state. It happened on 2 of my accounts. One of them focuses on more of these weighted subjects. So is censorship possible? Yes, it is. They can censor your stuff. Distribution queue delays, automated review holds, algorithm recalibration, device IP trust checks. If they don't trust you, you're not gonna get any views, and obviously I'm gonna say I'll be the first. I don't know. I'm not gonna make that claim, but if they don't trust you, then you won't have any outreach. That's censorship. Like front and center, that is censorship. Let's see. Okay, that's about it. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, actually, I'll finish this off, which I would argue TikTok has become like one of the most influential apps in our time, and in history. I would argue that too. There are other apps, non-US social platforms. This is a solution that could potentially work for people. Other countries have their own social apps that aren't the ones we typically use in America, which I would argue would be Instagram, Facebook, now TikTok, and YouTube. Those are all US owned social media platforms, all to which likely could very easily be censored due to proximity. Now, I'm not saying that these other ones aren't either, but China has a ton. I'm not really going to get into those. Of course, this all started because allegedly China was stealing our data, or whoever it may be, Taiwan stealing our data. I don't remember where. ByteDance, which is ByteDance still owns 19.1% or so of TikTok. Russia has its own social media platforms, networks. India has its own social media platform networks, ShareChat and Moj. Japan has its own, which would be Line. South Korea has its own, which would be Kakao Talk. Europe has two, Vero and StudiVZ, is what I would say, is German, and then Vero is UK and United Arab Emirates as well. Decentralized open source platforms, Mastodon, Matrix, and PeerTube. It's just something to consider. All right, I'm going to get into the companies that bought it. Oracle Corporation is a major American multinational technology company based in Austin, Texas, specializing in database software, cloud-engineered systems, and enterprise software. Co-founded in 1977 by Larry Ellison, it is renowned for its Oracle database, Java platform, and Oracle Cloud infrastructure, which is increasingly focused on AI and autonomous services, databases and AI integration. So obviously our algorithm is going to become, I don't know what, or the moderation now is going to use AI to moderate. And so they're going to flag anything they don't want. And yeah, that's a problem. Oracle is heavily investing in AI infrastructure, including building new data centers for AI, and has become a key technology partner for TikTok's U.S. operations. Market positions. As of 2025, Oracle is one of the 20 largest companies in the world by market cap. Silver Lake, the other American company that was in the purchase, is a leading global technology investment firm founded in 1999, managing over $116 billion in combined assets and committed capital. Based in Menlo Park, California, it specializes in private equity and growth capital for technology-enabled companies. Key leaders include co-CEOs Egon Durbin and Greg Mondre. Key details about Silver Lake. Investment focus. Large-scale investments in technology and tech-enabled growth industries, including software, internet, and data center companies. Portfolio. Key investments include Dell Technologies, Waymo, G42, Alibaba, Ant Group, City Football Group, and a major role in the 2026 acquisition of a stake in TikTok's U.S. operations. Structure and reach. The firm operates globally with offices in New York, London, Hong Kong, and Singapore. It operates through specialized funds like Silver Lake Partners, Sumeru, and Waterman. MGX most commonly refers to the United Arab Emirates-based AI investment fund established in 2024 to develop global AI infrastructure and technologies. Other uses include NVIDIA's modular server architecture, Yamaha's digital mixing consoles, and MGX equipment services. The UAE founded MGX in 2024 in Abu Dhabi based, focused on investing in AI infrastructure, semiconductors, and AI technologies. It has participated in major funding rounds for companies like OpenAI, Databricks, and XAI. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.